Let's talk to Perspicacity. Let's see if he's here.
Yeah.
Let's see who's here. There he is. Let me unmute him. There he is. Are you there, Perspic?
Hi, Dick.
How
This
you
is
doing?
our first meeting, I think.
I know, isn't that crazy? Even on accident,
after
we didn't
4
cross
years,
paths on Ralph's show.
Yeah,
When you were the...
it never quite happened. When I was the co-host, yes.
You had a great run on that show. Perspicacity was Ralph's co-host, or I don't know if it's formal or informal for a...
Formal. I was a formal co-hosting gig, yes. If you can believe that with Ralph. It was formal. It was now.
For how long?
I was Ralph's co-host for about 6 months.
6 months. That's a long
6 months.
time.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
That was a good time.
With Ralph,
It was
that's
a good
good
run.
I guess.
It
The world
ended.
was on fire, and I was still doing the show with Ralph. It was kind of wild until this last one.
Yeah, he had a bit of a rough relapse on that one.
How is he now?
He's phenomenal now.
Phenomenal.
He
Okay,
went
good.
on Ethan Van Sciver's show
Yeah.
and absolutely bodied this guy named Gabe Hoffman, who is he is like
The Zionist guy, yeah. That's
he's
constantly going
super-
on about Israel.
he's super pro-Israel.
Yeah.
He's some sort of he poses as a Hollywood producer. He made some movie called An Open Secret that is alleging to be like pro-exposing Hollywood pedophiles, but then he sued some of the child victims in the movie.
Yeah, he sued the child victims
Classy.
for speaking.
Yeah, to stop
Classy.
them from telling their story on other programs, and like so he would lose the clout.
Yeah, right.
Which
and the money.
he's
And the-
very litigious.
Yeah.
He led a campaign for months to get Mersh kicked off PayPal. So even talking about him is very risky because he's extremely driven to ruin people's lives. From what that interview.
Oh, wow.
Just from watching that interview, that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, he's very litigious. And
Well,
he gives
that's-
away a lot of his money, too. He's a massive pay pig for people that he will give out his narrative, I guess. He drops thousands.
I don't know why
So-
either. It doesn't. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense to me. So
It doesn't make any sense. But rarely anything does in the Ralph verse. Rarely things make any sense at all. I learned that firsthand that when I was trying to make sense of it, it makes even less sense once you get involved with Ralph. It's like you're really scratching your head. So.
yeah, can you bump him up a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Sean? I'm going deaf,
Uh-huh.
or maybe I'll turn myself
got
up a little bit. So, well, enough about me causing us endless trouble by dealing with Dave. Gabe Hoffman, he demanded to go on Ethan Van Sciver's show,
Yeah.
and because Ethan Van Sciver has begun this.
He's kind of blown up, hasn't he?
He's blown up big time. Now that
Again.
now that he's attacking people who are duplicitous
Yeah.
and lying to others and like participating in this sort of behavior to cancel other people,
Right.
the audience loves that. They'll
Right.
they'll just follow that right off a cliff. He demanded to go on EVS's show and like run a weird defense for Eric July for hiring these incest, piss porn, fetish, intersectional feminists to run his country. Anyway, I don't know. This is getting way off in the weeds. But the reason I wanted you to come on is first of all because I always
had me
loved
at
your
piss porn. Whatever
piss porn
whatever you
fetishes.
said.
And Me Too, they're Me Too, they're Me Too intersectional feminists, and then they support trans and kids. It's like, this is the most SJW shit you can get. Do not hire it, you imbecile. But he loves them. I think he wants to have like a weird twincest threesome with them, so that's why he's hiring them.
Here comes a lawsuit.
Oh, I mean, can he say he does not want to fuck them?
He's building up. He's got to support that empire, his business, his product,
Right.
His warehouse empire.
the warehouse empire. Yeah, very threatened by Riley. That was the most curious to me. Very threatened by mint salad and Riley. I was like, I don't know. How do you take that when somebody's calling the police on Riley for putting stickers on the front door of a warehouse?
He's going to start selling Ripaverse branded shelves from his warehouse.
He sells cardboard boxes. He sells Ripaverse cardboard boxes for $50 that you can put your 3 issues of ISOM in.
Oh my God, that's what I saw.
True.
That's what I saw George in the other day.
Maddox lives in a Ripaverse box. Let's get him one
yeah.
for his gummy bears.
It caught him
You
at
put wheels
U-Haul.
on it and use it as a power wheels to get
buying packing tape, 50 of fucking Eric's boxes.
You think it's odd that a black man feels confident in calling the cops on Riley and Mint Salad like two white pornographers?
Yeah,
You think that's odd?
Yeah.
I do. I think that might be a little odd. A little, I don't know if Riley is a particularly imposing individual, but
He's got those
He was
big novelty
threatened.
scissors.
Yeah, right. He was threatened.
Riley runs around with big scissors, like in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
He's gonna cut off your Johnson.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Cut off your Johnson. I think if he has any contacts with his old life, I think they'd be like, yeah, you can't come around no more.
Oh, his gangbanging days.
I mean, like you can't.
You called the cops.
You called the cops
On a white lady,
and then you call the cops. Yeah,
on a big-titted white lady.
do we need to continue down this path? It's just we don't know you.
Now Eric's decided that this white suburban house mom, he's calling her a dog fucker because she's in an Inuyasha fan club.
Yeah,
which is like
What?
Yeah, it's
that's like anime, right?
it's like an anime version of Twilight. Is that right? I don't know, but it's like a werewolf. It's like a guy that turns into a werewolf.
It's something like that. It's like some guy who's a half demon or something. I remember the show being on when I was young, but I wasn't a huge fan of Inuyasha
because it's for girls.
Yeah, right. It's for little girls.
They love that shit. You know. Ooh, he's
like Sailor Moon for
he's a
younger
demon.
kids.
He's gonna fuck me, right? They love that shit.
Yeah.
As a wolf.
So now July's calling her a dog fucker.
Got it.
Man, this is quite a world. Black man's calling a white woman a dog fucker in
Right.
broad daylight. Woo! Wow.
Times have changed.
Oh, times have changed in comics.
Wow.
Well, he's clearly getting off on all the drama, right? I mean, it's become obvious that he's clearly into this and keeping it going, like this controversy, because it's printing money. That's why everybody's getting involved. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he gets it. I hope he has embraced it. I mean, for maybe his mental state, because for a while it sure didn't seem like
having fun.
he wasn't having fun. Sure didn't seem like it.
He's got all the support now, though.
Yeah.
A bunch of other fat white guys have joined up with him.
Yeah.
They rub on him. The quartering and Yellow Flash rub on him, so he
boy.
gets a little whiter every day.
The most fascinating thing to me was when they were inserting the 3D models with the filter over it, and that's the comic.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe, like, that's what goes on now in comics. They literally take 3D images and then they just put a filter over it and they call it a comic. And he's like floating on a couch. People are paying money for this.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I don't know, maybe like end tables are hard to draw.
like
they
can't
have to
even
keep
go
reusing
over
them.
after they render and like open their eyes up. They just render it and it's like, oh well, the computer closed the eyes on that one. Oh well, that's fine.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
People
close their eyes.
This guy's floating. He's laying down on the couch, but he's floating on it. Oh well.
Maybe he was
Nobody will
blinking while
notice.
he was talking. That's fine. That's normal. We just happened to draw him mid blink on this one. No big deal.
You know, there's a saying in audio before there was Pro Tools, there were pros. So it's like now it's maybe the comics is kind of getting there. You know.
Okay. So the big news, the big thing I thought it'd be fun to talk with you about is Ralph. Everyone knows I love Ralph.
Yes.
You've made that abundantly clear.
He knocked this girl up, a long time ago.
Yeah.
The first girl that he knocked up. And then it didn't go well. And
the knocking up.
No, it didn't.
Did
go
he
too
sign
well.
the consent
the
form?
knocking
Is that
up went quite well, actually, surprisingly well.
Right. I mean, it worked.
He had her sign the form, and he recorded it. And so,
right. So nobody can
be overwhelming. Yeah. And then he posted the consent and the copulation on the internet, so there would be no. He's ahead of his time, Ralph.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
From soup to nuts to nut, you got to see how that baby was made.
Yeah.
Yes, from conception. Yes.
Okay. So the father of the woman was upset for some reason.
Right.
Yes. Like, how deep do you want to go into this? I could go real deep.
Well, I'm going to give the broad strokes, and then I'm looking for what piques Sean's interest, because he's usually a good barometer of what the audience wants to hear.
You should go into when the father found out about his daughter running off to live with Ralph. in the middle of the night. And the father's response was to make an entire website dedicating to putting all the family's information out there, all of the daughter's information out there, threatening to sue the daughter because she stole the suitcase that she left in, all this crazy stuff.
So the dad's going to sue his daughter who ran off with Ralph for all this like
and
pointless tic-tac bullshit, ticky-tacky.
And he wants to dox everybody.
Everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
So this dad, Matthew Vickers is his name. Has spent his name-o, has spent the last 2 years. Is it?
Yeah.
4.
Has spent the last
4 years.
4 years.
Almost 4 years. Yeah.
Hounding Ralph at every opportunity to try to make him like the most miserable guy on the planet and drive him to suicide and get him to like relinquish all connection with his son, which I told him he should have done, which I told him to do in private and on the air. I said, you should absolutely do that. And basically make his life miserable. Like he constantly files lawsuits against him for defamation, for anything, and brags.
For everything, yes.
He goes on stream all week for multiple hours every day, bragging about how rich he is, how he's going to drive Ralph into the grave, how him and his wife are like the best parents in the world.
Oh, yeah.
He got his son to go serve Ralph. Another lawsuit.
Wow.
And not even just his son, but random people from the internet, from Kiwi farms that he hired these people.
He's my age.
To serve Ralph.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talk about different sides of like different life experiences. He's like 1 year older than me.
Wow.
Is he really 1 year older than you, Dick?
Yes. Can someone confirm that, how old Vickers is? Yeah, somebody.
So the girl, his daughter is like considerably younger than Ralph, right?
I think she's like 23.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's 23,
and she even wrote in her diary that she was worried her dad was going to try to start an e-fame career off her dating Ralph.
Yeah. Huh.
So she went. So the parents finally convinced her to like meet them at a hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was going to go back with the parents from Ralph's house, but then they took her phone. So she committed herself to a mental asylum.
Where all women belong.
I'm not making any of this up. Yes, we're all women.
I mean, that's
kind of did the work for,
So she committed herself to the mental asylum, and maybe a certain sex tape dropped during that time. So her parents decided to tell everybody about the sex tape, including all their parishioners at their shop. If you're wondering what drove away all the business, they told all their parishioners about the sex tape.
Okay.
So here's the kicker, Sean.
Okay.
This has been happening for 4 years. Ralph's been dealing with this guy, and I've thought the whole time, like, man, this is a tough curse that Ralph's got to bear.
Yes.
This guy's not going to
spend the rest of his life doing this, right?
He sure seems driven.
I mean, I'm picturing myself in this, doing these actions. I wouldn't do these things, but I'm just saying if I did, like, man, I got a lot of resources to fuck up someone's life, right?
Yeah.
I could do it for until I'm dead easily.
Right.
Fucking Matthew Vickers, they found out this week, was $500,000 in debt between the IRS, the California Federal Tax Board, Disneyland Cruises.
Disney.
Timeshare. His timeshare, a fucking homeowners association, like 30 grand in debt to a homeowners, while he's on stream every night bragging about like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, about he's going to destroy Ralph's life and how his life is so great. $500,000 in debt, bankruptcy, house foreclosed. He's got 4 other fucking kids, right?
Wow.
Worst father
ever.
Worst father ever.
Wow.
Deadbeat, worst father, and his wife left him. All in the span of...
He's getting a divorce, yes.
So Ralph fucking his daughter, excuse my language, destroyed his life.
Yeah. Well, It's fucking hilarious.
Listen, Ralph, a curse. The guy thought he was on top, and he just destroyed his entire life just trying to get at Ralph.
By
you don't always love who your daughter fucks, right?
Right.
But they're probably a little bit like you, right? So you have to be a little bit honest with yourself about that.
Well, not in this case.
I mean,
Well, you know,
kind of in this case, he's just not as good at Ralph at it.
Yeah,
he just didn't
I
become
know.
a good easel.
Boy, it's
well,
it's funny. There's like another guy who just like
Self-immolates.
right. I mean,
It's incredible.
These
The
people-
amount of debt
I
that
know.
you're in, and you're sitting there every night seething about Ralph and bragging about lawsuits with your fat
Yeah.
wife, ex-wife now.
well,
It's
what
been
they
the
would
most
do
epic
is
Ralph flip that I've ever seen.
these guys just fucking they
it
just
is an amazing win.
they insist upon just dancing in a field full of rakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see George do it.
Yeah, Maddox, yeah.
I mean, fucking, how many times can you whack yourself in the fucking face with a rake before you learn something?
Well, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. You know, he was. I've been feuding with Vickers for 4 years now. Well before I made amends with Ralph and everything, and then of course we had the breakup about a month ago. But Vickers has spent over $100,000 on these lawsuits, and his shows were dedicated to reading line by line the lawsuits. So he'd go through page by page and be like, "This is what I'm getting Ralph for here." And he broke the DVRO by saying Faith's name in this tweet on this date. I mean,
The
the guy is
restraining
like
order.
completely
Yeah.
upset. Yeah. These restraining orders that are all bullshit anyway. I mean, Ralph lives in Mexico.
Yeah.
What do you need a restraining
Vickers
order?
has no
I mean,
money
like,
to pursue him if he breaks it.
Oh,
well, now he has nothing. Right? But it was all
Now the
bullshit
restraining
anyway.
order just evaporated.
Wow.
crazy.
You know.
I mean, he
Well,
like.
and
Go ahead.
isn't it a story as old as time, though? Really, I mean, your
Yes.
daughter, teenage daughter, runs off. She's
with a
over
handsome
18.
Lothario.
Yeah, with some guy, she runs off with some guy and parties for 3 months. She comes home pregnant, and then it's like, oh, what do we do? You know, like,
Yeah.
It's happened a million times.
it's
What do you
happened
not
a
do?
million
Yeah.
times over the years. Yeah, but this guy's reaction to that was to make himself bankrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, to spend every
Yeah.
last dime trying to destroy Ralph.
Mhm.
And
It's unreal. And he's like being spurred on the whole time by people who despise Ralph.
Yes,
Like,
of
yeah,
course.
that was an awesome stream.
Well, it's
You gotta do that.
and it's always it's real easy to play with somebody else's money too.
Yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
they're like, because let's face it, I mean, because it's entertaining.
It is.
Well,
It's entertaining.
Well, can you imagine?
They want shit like that to happen.
Well, can you imagine? The guy is like, the house is in like foreclosure now, right? He's
Yeah.
getting a divorce. The house is in foreclosure. Like the business is done.
How much is his house?
business
Maybe
is
I should
done.
buy Ralph's son a nice place to live.
I think it's like,
I want to get into investing. You know, Bitcoin's
I'm
on a
not
tear. I got to
Right.
diversify a little bit.
I'm not sure how much is, because they haven't itemized everything on the list. It's just a bankruptcy that he's filed like 3 times now. It's been back and forth and rejected like 3 times in bankruptcy.
God.
And they keep spending more and more money. But I mean, the house got to be worth something because it's a gated community. And the irony is this gated community has a clause that you can't squat in the house if you can't afford it. Because it's a gated community.
Yeah.
So it's so perfect. So they can't even white trash squat there. They're fucked. Because they had to sign this lease with like some, like a condo board or like a housing board for this gated
He's
community.
way
So they
behind in
couldn't
his HOA dues too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That
So they
$100,000
want him out.
would have gone a long way
God.
for a 30-year mortgage or whatever he's got.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't
it's
know
so
what he
funny.
thought. Like, where did he think it was? He also tried to sue me.
Oh,
and
He
wow.
did?
Various people on Twitter. Yes. He tried to sue 50 people on Twitter.
Oh my God.
Wow. For what?
He literally claimed that he was crippled by the coverage. Like he was in like a wheelchair. He had neurological damage.
The
But
band
it's-
set him into a wheelchair? Like the Big
Yes,
Lebowski?
this is what I'm not even kidding you. In
Is
the
it a
lawsuit,
blanket?
it outlines that he was neurologically damaged by online trolls. And Ralph, which I told Ralph at the time, I said, Ralph, this lawsuit is the greatest thing ever. This man is literally telling you that he was neurologically damaged by you. Sue you for like $1 million for neurological damage from
What's
Twitter.
wrong with these people?
They just
I don't
They just
know.
go straight to lawsuit every time.
just can't shut the laptop.
Oh, my legs are cured. I can walk. I can walk. I don't want to because I'm 600 pounds, but I can.
Right.
And that's the thing too. The wife just had weight loss surgery. She just had a gastric bypass, so they're racking up.
And now they're
racking
divorced.
up as much debt as possible. That's exactly. It's all a scam in and of itself. They're racking up as much debt as they can so they could get it all out in the bankruptcy. Then he's divorcing her so he can get her on Medi-Cal, basically.
Oh, so it's a divorce on paper?
Yeah, so it's like a quotation. It's like the wife is disabled in big quotation marks. So it's all to get it's
quotation marks.
Yeah. It's all to set up like this big, massive scam where they could just like suck the government for welfare and insurance. I'm sure.
God.
So I'm supporting the Vickers family.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I'm a California taxpayer.
Perhaps.
They're going to fucking bankrupt the California, Medicare system.
And he's online crying every day about how Ralph's not supporting his son. And here I'm actually supporting all of his kids.
Well, yeah, now you're supporting the family.
His wife, which is expensive.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you see them; they're all 600 fucking pounds. I'm sure that's going to cost a ton of money. All of a sudden, they're going to be going to the doctor every week.
How much for the bankruptcy and the repossession? How much do they get for like 60 Disney mugs? What are those guys?
Yeah, I don't know.
Secondhand.
I know Vickers is selling his streaming equipment, which I found funny. He's selling the microphone for $50 on eBay.
Oh my God.
We're not going to get any more of the good, the bad, and the vicious? Oh, come on.
No, we're not going to get any minute-by-minute coverage in the lawsuits that he spent hundreds of thousands.
50, but what is that going to do?
What?
It's like selling your fucking USB mic.
I think it's symbolic.
Perhaps
you realize.
Yeah.
Let me look up what he looked like. Good, the bad, and the vicious. I really can't believe it. I thought Ralph would have to deal with this forever, but I mean, honestly,
I told Ralph
self-immolated.
This is the thing with Ralph, and I do like I really tried to be a good friend to Ralph, and I would say to Ralph because his stuff would drive.
I know.
me
I
crazy.
listened to your breakup live, and it was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking because I know addiction. I know addiction very well. And coming from your side, you were the sober one in the conversation, so it's always more.
Yes.
You're always more sympathetic to me because I'm always on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, yes, I know about that. Yeah.
So anyway, what were you saying?
I had this conversation with Ralph like 20 times off air, but he doesn't remember anything.
Well, yeah.
You know that. I know you know that.
Yeah.
I know you're aware. So I was saying to Ralph, okay, you have an insane father-in-law. You got a whole other situation going on where you can get into trouble. Just ignore the Vickers. They're going to go bankrupt because they can't possibly support paying for the daughter's lawsuits, paying for their own lawsuits. They live like, they live like they're just living off of credit, going on these vacations and stuff. It's never going to hold up. They're not making this amount of money.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole story behind the coin shop where the entire inventory for the coin shop
is
allegedly.
A coin shop. The guy
owned a coin shop.
owned a coin shop.
Vickers owned a coin shop, yes.
Right.
And allegedly, the guy he got the entire inventory from this coin shop, all the silver and gold and coins and stuff, was this schizophrenic guy who leased all of his inventory to them. And then the inventory mysteriously disappeared. And Vickers didn't know what happened to it when he went to the store. So the guy filed a lawsuit. This guy is a little nuts.
Okay.
So he tried to perform a citizen's arrest on Vickers
sure.
at the store. Of course, he was escorted out of the store.
You can perform a citizen's arrest or a female cop citizen's arrest where you just come in blasting, right?
Yeah, right.
Citizen's arrest, what kind? The woman kind. Bah, 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 bah. Okay.
Well, fortunately, he wasn't. He was a little nutty. But he filed like this big civil lawsuit that Vickers stole all his money. But Vickers is such a scam artist that he kind of slipped away from that. But you'll notice there are all these little civil filings with Vickers in the background that are going on where Vickers mysteriously is accused of stealing all this money and somehow he doesn't know where it is. He doesn't know anything about it. And that's been going on for years and years and years.
Well, once you choose to stop paying taxes, in my experience, the people who do it, they don't ever pay them again. Like,
well, my theory
is taxes this year or the next 7 years. Like, okay.
Oh, you mean the psychology of it. Where they're
Yeah.
like, I'm already
Like,
behind.
I'll make up for it next year. Like, you
Yeah,
are
you know
not
you
going to
won't. You
make
won't
up for
because-
it next year,
Right.
bro.
You didn't have the money this year.
Yeah, you're on a payment plan in
You're-
7 years. That's
yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah.
You're finally dead broke.
Yeah.
Well, my theory is once he went through the entire inventory, he couldn't replenish any of that money. Like it just wasn't making money anymore. So they were just broke after that. So it was basically all money that they stole. And then once they ran out of that stolen money, it was like, it's over. The gravy train is over. Notice the shop closed. It wasn't making any money. So there has to be like explanations for these things. And I think that Vickers caught himself. I mean, you don't go from being a banker to owning a coin shop anyway. It's kind of a strange transition of careers.
This is what he looks like.
Yeah. That's him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fedora. He looks about my
Are
age,
those
right?
like, what the, are those like opera glasses? Like,
He's looking for the
What is it?
lost money. He's looking for where the money is.
Yeah. He's looking at his daughter's sex tape. That was another thing that was wild that he revealed. He
that's from
revealed that
2015, yeah.
he created a Pornhub account so he could be the first person to download this sex tape so he could have an archive of it. He announces all of this stuff. It's insane with this guy.
Yeah.
This is Gen X stuff, man. We're gonna get
Gen X
weirder and dumber like this,
Yeah,
like
sure.
asserting control,
Sure.
how much we don't care.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's gonna be a whole different kind of beast
What
that
did
should be
you
put
just-
down.
Different kind of
Wouldn't
mind.
you
bars.
pay people off? Like, wouldn't you pay that $100,000 so nobody ever talks about this sex tape again? You just pretend it doesn't exist. Like, nobody really knows. Like, a normal person on the street doesn't know who Ralph is,
Right.
doesn't know what the kill stream is. So
Right.
wouldn't you just keep it quiet and like not tell everybody?
Yeah, I wouldn't talk about it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you know, I
Yeah.
guess that
Do you
happened.
remember
People
when
can't do that though.
Like, do you remember when Ralph was feuding with like Leafy and Keemstar?
Yeah.
Do you know the Vickers family contacted Keemstar and Leafy and stuff with the sex tape and said they wanted to be interviewed?
To get the daughter's sex tape out there.
This is very Kardashian-esque.
It is.
Yeah,
They're the
really,
white
yeah.
Kardashians.
It's
Yeah.
so slimy and white trash.
Yeah.
It's
They
really
They got the
unreal.
fat ass and fat everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of nice thinking now that without his oppressive influence, maybe the daughter could raise the kid.
Well, yeah, maybe
a
they
little bit
could
of
have
help
a-
from Ralph,
Oof,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
a little bit of
Normal
influence
time.
or whatever, just without this like soul-sucking celebrity shit always hanging around because it
Well, what
hurts
does it
people.
have to-
Yeah.
Yeah, what does it have to do with this child anyway? It's not like this child knows anything about any of this nonsense.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
it's, you know, the kid's just going to get fucked. I
Yeah.
mean, in the long run, these
Well,
people are so dysfunctional.
Thank God he has Ralph Male DNA. That's what I'm
You
holding
know.
on
Yes,
to. He's
he
got
does
that.
have the Ralph
Maybe-
male
Yep.
DNA.
Yeah.
He could survive it.
He can survive anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one more story. I don't know if this is too dark,
Okay.
but it is
No.
a fascinating
Yeah.
The
story.
last time somebody asked that was Trap Daddy.
Oh,
And he
right.
said his daughter had just died from leukemia or something. Remember
Yeah,
Oh,
that?
what's
yeah,
that?
boy. Yeah, that
So,
one really, yeah.
You got to top that,
That one kicked
Perspic.
me right in the nuts. I thought, how dark could it be?
I still think about it
Yeah.
this
yeah.
week. I was like, oh, man,
Oh,
that
jeez,
sucks.
Yeah.
that's terrible. Yeah, it's not as dark as it's kind of comical. So
Okay.
you remember Ralph went to Portugal, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So the first time he went to Portugal, he got beaten up and he had to go to the hospital. The second time he went to Portugal, there was this British guy, Cog, who's like complete roach. Like nobody knows who he is or anything. But Vickers was like liquidating his children's college fund to like give this guy money.
To give
was, like,
Cog
the
money?
only- Yeah, he was giving Cog, like he was the main contributor to Cog.
He was giving him
He was-
cash.
To do what?
cash money. Yeah, like it was revealed even in some leaks. If you remember the Post leaks, I don't know if you know about any of that, but
Only a little
Vickers
bit.
actually gave Cog like a ton of money to go to Portugal to confront Ralph.
To confront
This was-
Ralph?
Is that when Ralph
Yes.
got beat up?
That's when Ralph got beat up by Cog's friend Dan. Yeah. The
So
second
Vickers
time.
is dipping into his kids' college fund to pay a muscle man to go to another country and beat up.
beat up Ralph,
Well, that's
yes.
also like a major criminal charge, right?
So
Like,
it
I mean,
gets even
just-
crazier.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. We're not even to the crazy part. We're not even
Yeah.
touching the crazy part yet. So they saved the shirt for Vickers that Dan is wearing with Ralph's blood on it. And Vickers pays for it to get shipped to California so he could frame it and put it in his living room. The shirt that he paid
What?
The shirt, Dan's
fuck?
shirt, that he paid this guy to beat up Ralph. He had them send it to California full of blood, and he framed it in his living room. And it's framed in his living room.
The
shirt with
evidence
Ralph's
of
blood
a
on it.
major
Of a
federal
crime.
crime.
Of like multiple crimes. The evidence of multiple crimes is framed in this guy's living room.
This guy's
Because
What the fuck?
he's insane.
he's so
Completely
obsessed with
fucked
Ralph.
up. Yeah.
Because he wanted to
insane.
fuck his daughter. I mean, that's the only explanation.
Yeah.
You know.
It does seem like a Ben Thorpe type situation, yes, if you're aware of who the Thorpes are.
Yeah, I do. I saw he just got arrested for kicking his daughter, and it really took the fun out of all their bit.
Yeah, he
I
did
don't know
just get
anything
arrested.
about the.
There are this dad and this daughter that pretend that they're doing incest, or maybe they were doing incest.
Yeah.
Maybe they
Then-
are. We don't know.
But then
Yeah.
he was on stream last night, like horse kicking her, or like, you know, when you're laying back and kicking like that, you really nailed her. So
Yeah.
it was real sick.
Okay. Strange.
Yeah.
Strange.
So
felt
the
bad for
viewers
a
called the
moment.
police, yeah, and they arrested him.
Oh.
And he's in
Yeah.
jail, yeah.
Well, I hope things will turn up now start turning up for the Ralph Mail now.
I do too. I hope this is a little bit of a relief for Ralph because boy has it been it's been a roller coaster for Ralph these last 4 years.
It's got to be so draining, you know?
Yeah.
Like somebody who hates you that
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
with money to spend. Now at least he's got to deal with the IRS for a little bit, and they're not.
He's got
funny.
one less
No.
Ralph, you got one less excuse. You could actually focus on like doing things and not being distracted by like just complete nonsense. White trash that just desperately wants your attention. I mean, this is what these people were doing.
Yeah.
They literally bankrupting themselves to get Ralph's attention.
God.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yes, it's so funny. It
It's
took 4
crazy.
years
All because
to
you
pay
banged
off.
your daughter. I mean, like, join the club. What is there? Hundreds of thousands of fathers in the United States who have had their teen daughters get pregnant by some guy that's
Yeah.
twice their age,
God,
and
yeah.
they
And
come
many of them were
home.
fatter than Ralph. So let's not, you know,
Yeah,
you didn't even have the worst
are
one.
in jail, or murderers, or whatever. I mean, it's
Right.
constantly going on.
Or not, they have no, like Ralph's very entertaining and fun and intelligent, you know?
Yeah.
She could have done worse.
I don't know. He thought he was going to go on Dr. Phil or something.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Perspic, thanks for calling in.
That's
As
Of
I
course.
said, I enjoyed your run on the Ralph on the kill stream.
I appreciate that. It was a fade. It was a fade. It wasn't faded to last, but it was a fun experience. I had fun with Ralph.
It never is. Are you doing anything now that you want to plug?
You could catch me on YouTube at Perspicacity on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's about it. I'll be
Perspicacity.
streaming again. I have to do a victory lap on this since I've been covering the Vickers for 4 years, and I know all their antics. And the last time Vickers lost a lawsuit, he said I was like the first person. My face popped into his mind. So I have to enjoy this just a little bit, you know.
Yeah. This is enjoy it.
Even though I'm nobody, like the guy is obsessed with me. I'm nobody. I'm like just somebody who's covered his antics, but he really is just obsessed with this
I don't
little
think
sphere of the internet.
I don't think Gen X people understand the internet. I don't think they can imagine people at scale. They only know what's in front of them, and then that's everything.
They know there are people watching. They don't care if it's 10 or 100 or 1,000.
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Enjoy
on.
the Oscars. Are you going to enjoy the Oscars tonight? Is that-
Yeah. Maybe.
All right. See ya.
All right, man. See you.
Nice guy.
What a world.